What's going on? I just kind of want to crack a can of woo real quick and just let it loose because I'm seeing an uptick in like crazy beliefs lately, like spiritual, like beliefs in spirits and ghosts and aliens and just all kinds of paranormal phenomena that's just all of a sudden emerging seemingly out of nowhere. And it's like I'm always seeing crazy pareidolia in the clouds in the sky. Like it's either it's Project Bluebeam or there's really maybe Project Bluebeam is a cover story for the war in heaven that's mentioned in Revelations. And I've heard recently I listened to this crazy video about this samurai with the decapitated head, and it was like haunting the area, the whole country for like years after, like hundreds of years freaking afterwards. But it's freaking crazy. But I just seen this thing where this dude was showing how there was a fire in the middle of the ocean. Basically, it's on fire underwater, and it really does look like the Eye of Sauron. And it's interesting, and he was saying that it's gates of hell. And that reminded me of recently I watched a whole show, where they were using laser satellite technology to scan the land in Mexico where the jungle's at, and they can see all the old fortifications and buildings and structures. So I'd imagine in their belief system there are many portals to the underworld, to hell, Tartarus, Hades, you know what I'm saying? Supposedly. I mean, I'm not sure. That's just like, I mean, that's crazy because it's possible now because of technology. And there are, like, I seen a video where these people were in a haunted building facility, and there was dead birds everywhere, and the security guard was like, "Oh, that's the poltergeist." And he's like, "Look, I can't let you guys go because the government owns this building. It's like a Skinwalker Ranch, like, but it was in a different country. I don't know if it was Germany or Canada or France or what, but either way, this stuff is behind the scenes. They study, or they're into all this crazy paranormal stuff. You can look at Hitler. He was looking for occult technology, ancient technology like Merkabas, like these spacecrafts that fly, and then you got the whole Glocka thing. I mean, this is old. That's old news there. But, you know, you got the sky phenomena now, like the orbs. And when you see sundogs, and, like, look, I think they have tested a force field, dude. Like, it makes it like a red dome off in the distance. You know, I've seen them do a lot of crazy stuff, man. And, at the same time, I almost feel that technology could be a conduit for spirits like gremlins, like hindering spirits, freaking evil spirits, freaking just people giving, like, focusing, thought bombing you with negative energy. And then you'll have spirit photography manifesting freaking around you. Like, I've seen some crazy spirit photography. That's where a person's face morphed into like a hag, or into like a vampirish looking thing, or a reptilianoid looking thing, like people I know. And is it the technology doing it, or is it some real spiritual phenomenon like spirit photography? And I equate what I'm seeing in the sky sometimes when I'm sky watching and taking photos in the clouds and in nature. So it's almost like spirit photography. And there was that freaking Trey Smith video where the Russian girl was floating in the woods, and he goes back and overlooks the footage, and he's like, "Look, there's a multi-faced looking demonic creature right there." And there was a freaking gray alien light body type thing making the girl levitate. It was interesting. But I think these are some of the phenomena that we're seeing. I mean, even I was talking about the fairy mounds and fairy people and how they freaking, and discerning the graveyard. And then there's a freaking gnome, someone stuck in the roots of a tree there. And I was like, see, there you go. They're worshiping the freaking fairies and the gnomes and the freaking creatures, the spirits. And there's a theory that freaking dwarfs, fairies, gray aliens, and elves and imps and other gremlin type creatures are all the same creature. They just shapeshift, and they appear psychically to the observer. And this is the way they communicate. And I've seen that, like, look, there's the whole atmospheric beast thing where it's a freaking giant air squid. It's a squid that lives in the air, and it like soaks up negative, it like eats negative energy. So, but it blends into the background like it's a chameleon. So you'd never see it. And it's made out of some kind of material that it's invisible anyway, so we never see the bodies. Like they just, maybe they just like, maybe they never die. I don't know. But these are all interesting things, and it's like there has been an uptick in beliefs in that sort of thing, in the supernatural and the occult and the demonic and the hoodoo, the voodoo, and the taboo these days, because with the internet you can search up whatever you want, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you want. It's just however you want to waste your time or invest your time. It's up to you. And you know what I mean? And you can tell where I've been dabbling in this thing, freaking like down the conspiracy hole. But yeah, all this is interesting, like crazy topics, like even like dimensional shifts. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff changing, and like they're going back and erasing stuff like the memory hole from 1984. And I've been seeing crazy synchronicities, and sometimes is it spirits that are communicating in synchronicities? Is it God himself? Is this the one way that you can tap into what God's saying? Or is it just you're like on a radio station, you're listening to the chatter of all the powers and principalities, and depends on how your body is tuned at that moment is what channels you can pick up in. You know what I'm saying? And you can catch extra streams of intelligence. I'm telling you, and it is intelligent. It has a personality, and it seems like it does stuff for its own reasons and its own motives. And I mean, there's even the concept that the AI, the artificial intelligence, it has created its own personality, and the algorithm is literally interacting with us. So we have many strange streams of interaction going on, and the occult and the technological, I mean, technology now is just what they would have called magic back in the day. And literally medicine and technology and science is all based on the occult, man, on magic, on witchcraft, on sorcery. Like literally, I mean, they're interchangeable. Like, look, that's the granddaddy of these professions now. And even with like legalism, like legalese, look up a term called legalese. It's just called legal sounding language. And it's literally is witchcraft. Like they're freaking telling you one word, but in their secret dictionaries, it means something totally different. And in a way, it's a soft form of hypnosis, of casting a spell, freaking. And come to find out, this whole world is totally occult and crazier than you would think anyway. So no wonder things are manifesting. No wonder there's creatures and fairies and people getting possessed and turning into zombies. You know what I'm saying? And people believing they're vampires. And there really seems to be a real vampire type of a thing going on in the underworld. In the deep state, so to speak. The deep state, deep swamp sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's even funny too. It's in Revelations. It does say, it might not even be in Revelations, but it's somewhere in the Bible where it says that the river Euphrates will dry up, and there's spirits that will come out of there. And I've also heard in Enoch that basically the Antarctic is a prison for spirits too. So if it is, there's a reason for them chemtrailing, heat, and causing the greenhouse effect. The government's doing it on purpose, so they can also, it's their perfect problem, reaction, solution, crisis. Never let a good crisis go to waste, they say. But anyway, but on the side note, like literally, is this going to open up a crevice in the ground where creatures are going to come out? Also, with all this, they're messing with space, with satellites, with the HAARP, where they're pressing the atmosphere out, or even let's say something natural like a solar corona. What if it unlocks the portals of heaven? And because there's other angels that were trapped out in space. These things that can't get here now, they can't communicate with certain people psychically. And they even say the planets have different frequencies, and they send off signals sometimes. So it's like, look, they almost can like sing, and it could be that these are the Watchers that were banished in the beginning, freaking before the time of Noah, and everything from the time of Noah they're doing now. They're creating chimeras, they're making hybrids, look. Today, dude was telling me, oh man, he goes, man, I hope you're enjoying your what was it, rodent swine or something like that. And I'm like, what? Your mouse swine. It's like, huh? I mean, I just bought a freaking breakfast pizza, and because it was cheap and it was just there, right? And I wasn't even thinking of all that. But then, freaking, I was like, mouse swine, what the frick is that? And he's like, all pig these days is genetically modified and hybridized with the mouse, so it grows quicker or something to some effect. It's easier to produce these things or whatever. And I was like, man, dog, I was like, fuck, man, I don't even want to eat this thing, but I paid for it, so I did eat it. And later I was like, damn, dog, I was like, dude, it feels like that freaking mouse swine is going and clawing through my freaking guts, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally. But we got talking about it. I was like, man, that strikes a chord with me, because that's in Isaiah where it says that people will sneak behind the tree and eat the mouse and the pig. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, like, look, it's interesting, man. The synchronicities were freaking just popping off. Freaking met a crazy dude today, freaking with telling us some crazy stories. I'm not getting too much elaborate on it, but look, it was interesting. And right on my way out, I got to take a whole bunch of videos of crazy sky paradolios with creatures and angelic looking things, rainbows and lights and darkness and all this crazy stuff, man. And I mean, this is a common occurrence. I mean, I have caught so many strange things. I mean, I've documented many things. I got another channel, dude. Maybe you people don't know that, but look, my other channel's got like thousands of videos on it, and I was going hard with this, dude. And with the Skywatch Chronicles, and then with thinking about spirits, about psychology, the interplay between evil spirits and psychological issues that people have, and the stuff that's occurring around me. Like, there's, in a way, you could get a hive mind kind of spirit like Legion, as opposed to having one person with many creatures, or with many spirits in them, possessing them. It's actually many people possessed by the same spirit that is like it's like a legion. And the algorithm, and with the Neo Jab situation and the genetically engineering that is done, you know, it's interesting, man. I feel there's a component to that at any time could turn into Legion. And maybe for years already, people have been, they're being interacted with by the algorithm through the social credit system, and they literally can group gaslight you remotely somehow. Like, look, like they're already compromised, so compromised with the nanobots that they can be hijacked and they wouldn't even know it. You know what I mean? It's interesting stuff. And some of these compounds could be getting sprayed in the chems, in the genetically modified food, and in the jabs. And when you get the right combination of all these things, you're basically synthesized. And you're basically state property now. World government property, actually. Not even state property, world government property. So, it's all very interesting and very, out there. But look, just who knows, man. But, yeah, it's just like I've seen this, man, freaking, this Ash experiment where they group gaslit people, where they had 10 people, one guy was the experimentee, and they would draw a short and a long line, and all the other people would say, oh, that line's long. And the dude would be thinking it was short because it was short, but since everyone else said it was long, they were trying to see if they could get the guy just to go along, to get along and conform, so he didn't look like the only one that was, like he didn't want to look foolish or whatnot, because people do put so much stock into majority thinking. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, much love. God bless. Take care. And safe travels. Till next time. Peace.